Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. Let's have a look at my account in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, and I just reached rank 130, so I thought this would be good timing. And then also this will be the last account show and tell before 7 stars come out. That will come out sometime in August, they say, so it could be as early as next week, or it could be at the end of August. We'll see. But yeah, pretty exciting time. And then let's go to my grade sheet here, and we'll look at how many days I've been playing. 449, so that's quite a bit more than 365, which has always kind of been my benchmark lately. And then actually, I hadn't noticed this until now, but total 7-star units awoken. It's already a statistic in here, so yeah, they are coming very soon. Okay, and then next let's go to my box. And then let's view by when I got these guys. We'll take a trip down memory lane. But yeah, as you can see, I started the game on that Final Fantasy VI banner. So my original team was like Terra, Locke, Kefka, and Setzer. Knowing how good Setzer or Trans Terra is now and how good she will be in the future, maybe it would have been a good idea to do the reset marathon to get her. But I didn't think of it, and I'm still pretty happy with how my account is now, so that is that. Let's see, Cecil and Firion, I used them pretty early. I guess, what's her face? Refia. She was my first healer, really. I got Yashuta a little later. And then here, Lunith, he is my first 5-star that appears in this order. But he's actually the second one that I ever got. The reason for that is because I pulled Ace very, very early, like my first 11 shot, but I never leveled him up because I didn't know the game, I didn't know the character, so I didn't care. But now he's one of my favorite characters. Really, really strong. He can imperil elements, restore MP, and then as a 7-star he'll be pretty crazy. I have 3 of him. So I'll be one step away from getting his Super Trustmaster. When I do make the 7-star of him, I'll want to level him up completely, just because he's really, really good. Minfilia I still use to this day. She has those elemental resistance that can get your entire party. And I'm really looking for other characters that can kind of fill that niche. But nobody's really come close, so still using Minfilia today. Otherwise, Warrior of Light, I used him a little bit in the beginning. Here's Maxwell. She was fun because you had to play her and then beat her in order to unlock this character. And then this character has a limit break which hits everybody for many, many times. So that was very useful for me to, get the trophies for summoning the Esper, doing the limit break, all that stuff, yeah. Ashe, I still use her in the arena, she's great. Duke, I don't really use. I like her Trustmaster, the Duke's Pouch, but I don't use her too often. And then looks like my third 5-star was Roberta. I have 2 of her, so she'll be ready for the 7-star. And then the next 5-star after that was Fullen. And then him, he was very useful. He was my tank for a long time. Because he has the Aggravate, where you can draw attacks to him. And then it's also pretty easy to get him high with the evasion. He doesn't need 100% evasion actually, because he has so many abilities where he can give himself images to dodge attacks. That it was pretty, it was pretty useful to use him early in the game. Let's see, then I got Orlando, looks like. I had used him a lot as a friend up to this point, but by the time I had pulled him, I was already sort of tired of him. He does 2 things basically. He breaks, and then he does that bubble chaining thing. So he's not super interesting as a character. I am a big fan of Final Fantasy Tactics though, so that's pretty cool. And then a little bit later I got Noctis, and he changed my world. He's a great character, he can do a little bit of everything, and I've used him in all sorts of different places. Very versatile. I have 2 of him, so I will be ready for his 7-star as well. Folan, I have 4 copies of him, so I can get his Super Trustmaster. That's the Rider's Armor, which gives you 40 attack, which is very, very good for a body piece. And then I got Zargobath, which I really liked. He's from 12, another one of my favoriteest Final Fantasies. And he's a little bit like Noctis. He does a little bit of everything, more kind of a buffer support character, whereas Noctis is a little bit more, I guess, tanky and then damage dealing. But yeah, he's been great. I have 3 of him, so I'll be ready for his 7-star as well. I haven't gotten his Trustmaster yet. I should get this fairly soon, I hope. And then was the Nier banner. I got 2 copies of A2, and then that setup saw me through a lot of the game. I beat a lot of the trials of that time, like the 2 Dark Espers, Echidna, Aigion, so they were very useful. But I got tired of them because I used them too much. So now they're just sitting around waiting for the 7-star to come around. And then when that 7-star version does come around, I'm going to fuse them, or use one to make the other 7-star. I know a lot of people are wondering if they should keep, like, 2 chaining copies of a character, or if they should go for the 7-star. I think in most cases going for the 7-star is going to be better, because in the future, many characters will be able to chain with many other characters, so it will be less important to keep 2 copies of a character. And 9S, I know he's one of the more popular 4-star monsters, but I haven't used him a lot either. His Trustmasters, though, is really good, though, the pod. I really want another one of him so that I can have 2 guys with pods so that they can chain together. I think that would really open up a lot of different team compositions for me, so I'm eagerly waiting for the return of Nier, and I'm saving my 4-star tickets so I can pull another 9S. And then on the Nier banner, I pulled a lot. Dropped a good bit of money. But I only ever pulled 1 copy of 9S, which is flabbergasting. But yeah, I got his 1 copy, and I got his Trustmaster. That was good for then. I would really like another one for now. Okay, there's that 2nd copy of Noctis, 2nd copy of Ace, and then here, around here, I took the story characters and I leveled them up, and then I beat their quests where you can get that limited time equipment. And then I think after Nier, I burned out. I was just logging in for like maybe a month or 2, but then there was that thing, that like hack, or like the game was down and there was like a whole bunch of compensation. In that compensation, I pulled Ayaka. And then yeah, up to now I had been using Yashutara. Ayaka, of course, was a big improvement, and I've been using her ever since. She's definitely one of my MVPs. I only have 1 copy of her. When we get the select tickets, I would like to pull for her, 2nd version of her, so that I can make her 7-star. But yeah, after I pulled her, that restored my motivation in the game, and yeah, I beat Aigion. Everything just went from there. It was pretty good. And then here, it looks like it was the Halloween event. I pulled Illusionist Nicole, who's been great. I like to use him in a lot of funky teams, where I make like a 100% evade character, and then Nicole will, redirect onto that character, and it's very cool. And then here, there was that global exclusive Final Fantasy IV Hatcher, and I was very lucky to get Barbarisha, and she's been great. She was my first real magic user in the game, so yeah, I used her a lot then, still using her now. Especially with Lexa that came out lately. She's been really great for me. And then, let's see, I pulled Knight Delita, That was very cool. He's a good breaker. I used him for a long time as a breaker. I beat some high-level quests with him, like Sheraton and Bahamut. I have 3 copies of him, so yeah, he'll be in good shape for 7 stars. Kainatsu, he's great, but I never use him. I hear only good things about him, but yeah, I never use him. Another copy of Folin, another copy of Zargabath, and then Cloud. For some reason, I guess I leveled up the later version, but I really like him. I didn't like Final Fantasy VII. I didn't like his character in that game, but in this game, I like him. Because he introduced that true double hand, what do you call it, mechanic. And I'm a big fan of that mechanic, so getting his Trustmaster is one of my top priorities. As you can see, I have 2 of him, so I'll be ready for his 7-star as well. Also at this time, I pulled Eileen. And I heard that she was great, but I already had 2 of A2, so I kind of kept her on the sidelines. But now she's one of my most used characters. And then Gladiolus. He was my first kind of real 5-star tank, if you don't count like Folin and Noctis with their evade. And he was great. Big improvement for me over Warrior of Light. He does not need evasion for a lot of quests because he's just so beefy that he can take the hits, actually, whereas Warrior of Light cannot. Lately, however, we've been needing 100% evasion tanks for a lot of higher difficulty quests. So I've been using him in that way. Thankfully, I have enough evasion equipment and abilities that I can get Gladiolus up to 100% evade. He has been great. I only have 1 copy of him, but hopefully I'll be able to make the 7-star of him. And then I pulled Prish, and she's kind of fun and funky, but I haven't used her a lot. I used her to beat 3-star Siren, but that's it so far. Her Trustmaster is really good, so I was happy to pull her for that. She recently got enhancements, but I haven't done any for her. I think for a lot of enhancements, I'm going to wait until I pull a 2nd copy so that I can make the 7-star, and then get some real good use out of them. And then here, the Final Fantasy Tactics pulls continue. I get Ramza and Mercenary Ramza. Ramza is a great buffer, although I haven't been using him lately for that. And then Mercenary Ramza, he recently got those enhancements where he became a very good Provoke tank. And then he was my first Provoke tank, if you don't count Noctis and Folin as evasion tanks. So yeah, he's been fun to do like that as well. And at this point, I still hadn't pulled a magic tank. So when 7 stars come around, I will be able to use him as a magic tank as well, so that'll be helpful. And then, Aranea, I was not anticipating pulling her at all. She's from Final Fantasy 15. I really wanted Prompto, because I want to make a team of all of those 4 guys from Final Fantasy 15. But I got Aranea instead. But then she turned out to be one of my favorite characters. She is a Dragoon. She jumps, and then her specialty is the 2-handed stance. So she works really well also with Cloud's Buster style, and she does lots of damage. And yeah, kind of thanks to her and Cloud, I became more of a fan of a solo damage dealer. So kind of moving away from like using 2 characters to chain, and then moving towards 1 character, just doing 1 big attack at a time. It is slower, so the fights do take longer, but it's more fun for me. I really like buffing up Aranea and using her as my solo damage source. And then there was the Tomb Raider event, and then here I was super lucky and I got Explorer Eileen. And I got 2 copies of her actually. I moved from using 2 of A2 to using Eileen and Explore Eileen from this point. And they've been great. A2 is excellent, but she only does the 1 thing really. But this Explore Eileen is very versatile in what she can do. You can make her an evasion counter tank, which is my favorite way to use her. She also has some nice true double hand passives, so you can get big damage. I used to use her with fixed dice, but lately I've been using her with the Machine Gun Plus. That has a nice multiplier to it, so yeah. I used her to chain, with Eileen, but more lately I've been using her as a solo damage source, just like Cloud or RNA. She's great. I think when 7 stars come around, I'm going to move over to Eileen, but I'll be eagerly awaiting the 7-star of Explore Eileen. She should be pretty good. And then Laswell, I can't remember. This might have been when Laswell was released. Somehow I got 2 copies of him very quickly. I haven't used him a lot, but I am very interested to try his 7-star form, because he'll be a good chainer then. And then here, looks like this is when we got the free copy of Lightning. That was very generous. And then another Ace. Got my first Balthier. He's another solo damage dealer, but he'll be better when he's a 7-star, so I'm waiting on that. And then I pulled Tita. He's another character that I don't really like from another Final Fantasy game that I don't really like. But he's very useful. Of course, his quick hit is very strong. But I like him kind of more for his support abilities. He can give water resistance to your team. He can break an enemy's water resistance. He has good evade, so he can be an evade tank. And then he has like an AoE buff as well, the Get Pumped. So yeah, lots of reasons to like him besides just the damage dealing. I haven't used him a lot though, because I just don't like the character. And then, let's see, next, Sargabath. That might be the 2nd or 3rd one there. Who else we got here? Veritas of Light. That was the first Veritas that I pulled, and I think she's still my favorite. She can... Well, I use her in the arena right now. She can break light resistance and then also do light damage. She can also hit all characters. Yeah, good breaker, good attacker, so she's pretty cool. And then was the Dragon Quest collaboration. I really like Golem, one of my favorite characters from any video game. And then after that was the Sephiroth Leela banner. I was lucky enough to get Leela. What I really wanted though was Schilt. They released a few magic tanks up to this point, like Chao and Bosch. I wasn't able to pull on get any of them though, even though I used all of my free-to-play resources to go for them. But that Sephiroth banner came out, I got Schilt, and I've buffed him up. He's one of my favorite characters now. But Leela's turned out to be pretty good too. She's unique with her damage. I've mentioned this in other videos, so I won't go into that here. And then, second Knight Delita, and then Fire Veritas. I don't think I've ever used him, but I like him in theory. He's another solo damage dealer type. And then soon after I got Schilt, it might have been in that same hatcher actually, but I also got Mistea. I prefer to use Schilt just because I got him first, but yeah, Mistea is there if I need her. And then there's Duke, another Dragoon that I like. Have not used him, but next time I fight dragons, I'll use him. And then Jake here, I pulled him when I was trying to go for Lid. CG Lid was released. She is my favoriteest character in all of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. I got Jake instead. But actually, if you do the wind pose, Lid makes an appearance, so that's pretty cool. I like Jake. He's only good at, finishing chains, or, being a solo damage dealer, but that's right up my alley, so I like him. He should be even better as a 7-star. And then I pulled Dark Fina. I was debating even whether I wanted to level her up or not, but I guess I had some leftover Cactars, so I went and did that. And then was the Final Fantasy IV banner again. I pulled Edward, who's probably my favoriteest Final Fantasy character. And then I got Rydia. I think this was like the last day that the banner was available. I think I pulled her on a ticket or something, but yeah, that was very cool. My first 5-star summoner, and yeah, also one of my favorite characters from 4. Looks like I also leveled up Rosa here. And then Nicole and Dark Veritas. I think these two characters I pulled at the very beginning of the 2nd anniversary. There were like the bundles that you could buy like the day before. It gave you some like tickets, and I pulled those two guys in there. I was not anticipating pulling Nicole. I felt like I didn't need him because Zargabath, he got his enhancements then, but they're different enough that I can kind of choose which guy I need for which situation, so it's good to have him. And then Dark Veritas, I was also kind of lukewarm about because I didn't care about him too much, just kind of like Orlando. But he's a little bit more interesting than Orlando. He has he can give your party dark resistance. He can break dark as well. So that was kind of more interesting. But lately he also got some enhancements, specifically Dark Lord here, which gives him not true double hand, but double hand. He can't use two-handed weapons, but he gets like that equipment attack buff for using one-handed weapon. JP did not get this, so this is kind of like an all-new way to use Dark Veritas. You can use him as a single hit, single damage source. So I've been kind of playing around with him lately, and he's been fun. I need better great swords for him. Although I have Beast Lord, which is A2's Trustmaster, you can't get much better than that. But I would like Glauca's Trustmaster, which has a Dark Element. And then the attack that I've been using is Dark Edge, which is just one big attack. And then I've tried it out in the training dummy, and I've gotten like 1.7 million damage, just a single hit. This is after he's imbued himself with Dark, and then broken the dark resistance of the character. But still, pretty crazy damage. Alrighty, and then there's Alexa, very happy to have her. And then Shara, he'll be another great chainer, but his 7-star is coming quite a bit later, so I'll wait on him. Another Laswell, finally got Prompto, very happy about that. I like to use him in the arena. I can either use that AoE stop attack, or I can use the Gravisphere, which you can hit twice with. So that's pretty good. And then here, Lid. I got her... they had that recent hatcher where all of the story characters are in there. I kept feeding it tickets, and then finally I got a Lid, so I was super duper happy about that. And then Sakura, who I also got from the story characters, was not anticipating this, but very happy to have her. And I am also using her in the arena. She's got that AoE attack, which breaks light. So she's a good partner with Light Veritas, and I'm going through opponents' teams pretty quickly. And then, let's see, Lulu. Just pulled her yesterday, I believe. No, 2 days ago. That was the, what was that? The return tickets special whatever, where you get like, 50 pulls at once. She was in there. Haven't leveled her up yet, but I am working on her. And then second Rydia, that's great. Third Knight Delita, that is awesome. Second Balthier, very happy about that. Second Leela, I've been using her to chain with guys, with herself against guys. She's been pretty great. And then Emperor, I just finished leveling him up a couple hours ago. And then I also give him his enhancements. So yeah, I guess all of them except for Subdue. I don't know if I'm going to use Subdue. But he looks like fun too. And then second Lunith, and then first Yuna. And Yuna is probably the next one that I'm going to be leveling up. The thing that I'm most excited about with her is the AoE elemental resistance. Earlier I talked about using Minfilia, but wanting a replacement for her. Yuna's going to be able to replace her half the time. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to have her for that. Okay, next let's look at the Trust Masters, and then I'll try to be a little bit faster here. This video is long enough. Let's see. Zydric I love, just because I love getting equipment and abilities for my tanks. Outfitting my tanks is one of my favorite things to do in this game, so Zydric was a no-brainer. Let's see. Ventus is interesting. Because I actually used Moogles to get this. Most people, they don't like to use Moogles for 3 or 4-star characters, but I really wanted this spear. I have my Barbarisha and Lexa chaining duo, and then they can break wind. And then this spear, being wind element, can ride on that elemental chain and then get extra damage in there. And yeah, I have lots of characters that want to use spears. Dragoons, and then Eileen. Those are kind of the biggest examples, but yeah, this has already been very useful, so I was happy to use Moogles for that. Otherwise, this one I was kind of surprised. I've been using this actually a bit. I like it for the MP. MP has been kind of becoming more and more scarce these days because abilities are costing more and more. So I actually have been using this. I wasn't expecting that. I almost did not get the Trustmaster, but yeah, I'm glad I have it. Tomb Raider is great. It does not stack with itself, I believe, but yeah, not stackable. But yeah, this helps me in my quest for true double hand stuff, so I was very happy to get that. What else? Stoss Spear might be one of the best weapons in the game. Very high attack, and then two-handed. So you can get great damage out of it when you're using true double hand stuff. It also has a high jump, which I like. I like jumping, and then it gives you 100% jump damage, which is pretty crazy. Other Trust Masters give you like 25 or maybe 50% extra jump damage, but yeah, 100 is pretty great. What else is good? Ring of the Luci, that is necessary. Duke's Pouch, also pretty necessary. Pure White Blessing, I have been using this a lot. I've especially been liking making builds that spam their limit break, and then this has been very useful for that. Also, like I said earlier, MP is becoming more and more scarce, so to get that bit of a refresh in there is nice. Let's see. Protect Grappler. This one's pretty great. I never got, what's-his-face? Rico, so I couldn't get this, but this is really good. Anything else good here? You know what? I wrote this off for a long time, but actually, there is one case where this is a really good weapon. That's when I am using Explore Eileen as a dual-wield character. Because she gets one buff for using, she gets one attack buff for equipping, I think it's a bow or a throwing weapon or something, and there are not a lot of one-handed bows. So I end up using this for Explore Eileen, and then that sets off the that additional attack buff. So this has actually been useful lately, so I'm happy to have this too. Mystical Skull has been another one that's been kind of like a behind-the-scenes MVP. But this gives you a greater limit break crystal, get rate, and then also the MP refresh. MP refresh, of course, is obvious why that's good. But the fact that this gives you a greater limit break crystal rate, rather than giving you actual crystals, is that this makes this really good for like first turn. Like first turns where you're trying to build up that limit break. Because the ones that just give you crystals, those activate at the end of your turn. The Mystical Skull, this can help you get crystals during a turn. So this can help you, get a limit break off on that first turn, if your luck is good. So yeah, I really like the mystical skull. Moogle plushie is great for creating provoke tanks. I've needed it less lately though, since getting Mercenary Ramza. And then also Metal Slime. Although I haven't really used this guy. He can only do one thing, but Mercenary Ramza can do other things, as well as provoking, so yeah. Magistral Crest. This has been easily one of the most useful Trustmasters I've ever gotten. It's very versatile because you can put it on almost any support character or any magic damage dealer and then get good use out of it. Magic Amplifier is also very, very good. I saved this for like Lexa, who needs a lot of MP. Not as much as a buff to her magic, but more MP, so it is nice. Magical Top Hat is great. Machine Gun Plus is great. What else is good? Fixed Dice is fun, but I prefer Machine Gun Plus, or sometimes Stuff Spear if I don't need that multiplier. But still happy to have it. Dragoon's Pride, this is one of the more recent Trustmasters that I Moogled up. 60% attack for using a spear and a helmet. And then, yeah, I like to use a lot of Dragoons and Eileens, so this is pretty good for them. Let's see, Desh's Earring, that's very good, of course. Buster Style, of course. Azure Crimson Soul is one of my favoriteest TMRs in the game. HP and attack 30%, which is great. You can even put it like on a magic user or a support character and not care about the attack, just because that 30% HP is so good. And then also, boost the fill rate of your limit break stones. So yeah, lots of different ways to use this. I would love to have multiples of this. And then I do have multiples of Laswell, but I don't know if I want to do more Moogles for that. Ash's Ring is also great, more MP there, so that's very nice. Light Resistance is also good. What else is good? Oh, I guess that's it. Alright. So that was a look at my characters in the order that I got them, and then also a look at my Trustmasters and which ones are my favorites there. And yeah, 7 stars are coming very soon. I'm very excited about that. And then when they do arrive, they'll probably come out in waves, little by little. As they are released, I'll make whatever 7 stars I can. And then once I level them up, I'd like to do review videos for each of them. So like first it'll be like Ace and like Folan and stuff. Not the most popular characters, but yeah, I think it'd be interesting to like take a deep look at them once they get their 7 stars. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.